Good morning, everyone. It's Saturday. Japers, where'd the week go? And Renaud is in. That's amazing, eh? And we're back on real time live on the tracker. So we should have the correct times back again. But I forgot to update my tracker holding page at the beginning. It was a bit of a panic on. I just didn't catch the time. I was rushing to get everything done, get some pictures in and bits and pieces. Anyway, I can slow down now. So yeah, Renault's in. Quite an amazing feat for him. You know, he's first in, and also the whole lead group and the whole fleet. You know, the speeds are unreal. We mentioned it yesterday. 135 mile average over 5,000 miles is nuts. So that's pretty cool. It'll be good to get Renault's story now. Hopefully, we'll get to do some interviews while they're there. They're going to be there. Renaud will be there for 12 days, which is quite a lot. You probably saw on the video he's anchored a fair way out, but that's probably because he wouldn't have been using the motor. He would have probably sailed in that breeze, and so rather than go right up to the beach and get a bit closer, he would have been happy just to get the pick down and get organised, get relaxed. He's got to clear customs and everything. I'm not sure when they'll do that. They'll probably come out. You probably have to pay an overtime fee because it's the weekend. Who knows what? But anyway, he's got the hook on the bottom, and he's finished that leg, and he's got a big break now to get organised for the next challenge ahead. Dan is not far behind him. We'll have a look at that. So he'd be in today, and then Kerry's a fair bit down. I'll do the numbers on that, but he was about Dan's before was travelling at about 8 or 9 hours behind him. So if he got in a couple of hours ago, he could be in daylight today. So that's cool. Anyway, they'll be happy to be there. I'm happy to see them there, and everyone, as I say, doing pretty well. So let's roll over to we saw them. In fact, what were these pictures? Guess you know what that boat is. I just quickly grabbed some shots to go with the intro. Part of the Tracker family library, which Graham has got access to, because as you know, the late John Guswell is our patron. The family's fully supportive. It's fantastic to know they're there. We're happy to be reliving the whole story. And Tracker's currently up in the museum. And in fact, it just reminded when I grabbed this, I haven't shown you the video. There's a video of Tracker being moved, ready for display for a boating festival up there. So I'll find that. Graham shared it before, and I meant to share it on and never got round to it. But anyway, it's great to see she's back out and on display, because she's normally tucked away on dust covers and things like that. But a lot of people would be happy to see the boat again. That was on his arrival home when he finally got back. And that, I believe, is in the fish and chip shop of the boat getting built. And there's John on his return home. So quite a bit of fun. Anyway, let's go straight to the tracker now. You're on the tracker. I'm on the tracker. Let's see. I don't think this has rolled over yet. Oh, it has. Okay. So if we go right up here, I'll come to Renaud. We should see him in the anchorage there. It shows him still moving a little bit. At 8 o'clock. I'm not sure. Oh, that's because of the average speed. He would have anchored it, sort of just after the one before. So over that 4-hour period, it says he's been moving at 1.4 knots, but he probably anchored it an hour within the first hour of that. And then it just picks up the average. So let's go back here. I'll put the grids in to give you a size perspective. Excuse me. And see what's happening here for their weekend. The guys at the back here haven't been quite hit by this increase of breeze. They're going to be spared the moment by the look of it. It's starting to fade as it sweeps over the top of the leaders of this rear group here. Anyway, Josh, 5.1, 117 mile day. That's good. He'll be happy. And Ayrton doing 6.3, 130 nautical miles. You might have seen Ayrton's got his little film up. We're doing a documentary series of all the entrants in 2022 GGR, and I just shared it underneath this so you can have a bit of a feel. It's very interesting because he just goes about the whole loneliness of not being able to talk to family and friends and all that sort of stuff. and that explains why he's such a heavy user of Starlink in the MGR. But anyway, it's a 27 or 25-minute film about Ayrton's 2022 GGR, where he retired into Cape Town because he's missing his family. So that's cool. So for now, 130-mile day. That's pretty good. And Jasmine did 125-mile day, 125, doing 6.1 knots. So managing to hold their own. 125 for Eric, doing 6 knots at the moment. And Christian, who had another strange encounter with some fishing boats that weren't lit so well. I just saw it in the last hour or so. Excuse me. The last hour or so, he put a post up about that. So anyway, 5.9 knots at the moment, 132-mile day, and Jacob 137 miles, 5.3. Adam 5.6, 132-mile day. So they're all making pretty good time there for now. And up here, the big breeze. Renaud's short message yesterday was quite interesting. He just said, "Jesus, blowing." He was saying 40 knots. He's got a little handheld wind instrument there, so 40 knots. A lot of water over the boat. Came in on the beam, and I said to him, my reply was, "Oh, well, if it's like anywhere else, it should start dropping back after a couple of hours." But it sounded pretty windy and wet. But anyway, he got through it all, and Dan reported something similar coming on the beam. You probably saw the post we put up. But as expected, it did drop back a bit to 25, possibly gusting 30 and so on. So anyway, and Peeler would have got the same, and Kerry's the same again as well. Peeler doing 6.6 knots and 147-mile day. That's not bad. Jeepers. There'd be big averages coming in there. Kerry, 145-mile day and 6.2, closing in quickly. Oh, I should have just picked this up a bit so you can see the relative positions a little bit better. There you go. He can measure it off in a minute. So you got Peeler back there, Kerry down here, Dan closing in very quickly, 6.3 knots, 139-mile day. So not quite as quick as the others. So the others have bound up a bit, but that probably goes with the breeze. And Renaud will now be stationary, I would imagine, but we'll blow that up in a sec and have a look. That's just as he was coming in. So at that point, Dan was... Oh, he closed the distance a bit, but I reckon that's because he's held it up. So don't worry about that. That's a bit distorted. But for now, based at 8 o'clock UTC, he had near enough to 30 miles to go, so about 6 hours. So 8, so that puts him in at about 8, 6 is 14. So 2 o'clock UTC this afternoon. I'm not sure how that relates to local time, but it was about 6 hours out at that stage. So distance behind for Kerry. He's better go. We're on course now, so he's about 60 miles behind. So it'll be about 10, 11 hours behind Dan. So it might be coming in at night time by the look. And Peeler, fair way back from Dan, 159. So day and a bit for that one. So that's kind of cool. Let's just do the weather before we go close in on Cocos again. So the split with the rest of the fleet, Adam is now about 400 miles behind, so that's about 3 and a bit days. Peeler will be staying 2 days longer, so Adam will end up leaving about a day and a half after Peeler when they finally all get away. The idea is, if you've missed it, the lead 4 will be stopping for 12 days, and the rest of the fleet will stop for the scheduled 10 days as per the notice of race, not the notice of race, sailing instructions. And that will allow a bit of a catch-up for everyone when they're taking off on the next leg, and it delays the leaders a little bit. So that's the decision on the change. Okay, and we compensate for that at the end of the leg, obviously. So let's have a look at what the weather is doing now over the next 2 days as they close in. I can probably build that up one more. Yep. So here's what it's looking like. Hit that. I'll bounce it through every 3 hours. Yeah, they're going to miss the worst of that big puff. Um, Jacob and Adam are going to get a bit of it, but the rest of it is dying off pretty quickly. Still plenty of breeze though, so they'll still be making their 120s and stuff like that. Oh, it's coming back again, so it's cycling. So yep, the seas are probably going to be 3 meters, 3 and a bit meters, and they'll have a fast trip that goes through the 8th, and that's a couple of days into day 3. That's what they're going to get. There's a bit of a solid breeze holding on over the top of Cocos. There's the 10th, so it's 4 days in, 5 days. So what's their ETA for Adam and Co? From there to there is 600 miles, so it's going to be 5 days. 4.5 days from now, something like that. So today's Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So it'll be Wednesday sometime for Adam, and then going through the fleet all the way back to Josh, he's another 3 days behind that. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days. So they'll all be there for about 4 days together, everyone together as a group, which will be a bit of fun for them. I can imagine a few beach parties as they get closer and so on. So that's kind of cool. All right, and let's just look at the currents to see how much of a difference that's been making. Yeah, there's some big numbers there, but these are Pila's done really well. I think she's obviously put the pressure on sailing, but maybe she's got a little bit more current there as well. Could have given it another 3 or 4 miles, 5 miles or so. Who knows? A bit of a mixed bag here for the fleet, but generally not bad. It's all good. It's all going in the right direction. So that's straightforward. I think that's this. That's us. We're done on that. And I haven't got a lot to waffle on about today. So it might be a quick one. Not a lot going on. I'm trying to do the press release today for the MGR. Talk about Renault's and speed, the fleet overall, the shipping and stuff, the split in the fleet, all those issues. Quite a lot happened over the past few weeks. So we haven't get a lot of traction with media on the press releases, so we'd rather do a regular 2-weekly thing. We do it as things are happening, and things are happening right now. We should hopefully, I'll get it drawn up and then maybe issue it on Monday or something, depending on if we get some photos. So Dan, if you're coming in, get photos of Renaud, and Renaud, if you're there, get some photos. We want some Cocos photos for the press release if we can. So, and if either of you want to call up for a chat, just send me a message and we can do that. Okay. Evening, Craig. Better be quick because all Blacks are playing South Africa right now. Oh, geez, go for it, mate. It's a bit boring now. Congratulations, Renaud from Rathlin. Come on, Captain Peeler. Good evening from Vietnamese Lantern Festival, Darwin. Enjoy the Darwin thing, Rathlin. Starlink seems to be the umbilicus that keeps these from getting too lonely. Josh thought it out. Josh, toughing it out old school. Yeah, absolutely. It does diminish from the whole concept of solo sailing. I've got to admit that. And I'm quite happy that they're doing it on the 580. The 580 is not easy. Everyone's making it look easy, but it's tough living in a little box all that time. So it adds another dimension as well. It's a positive dimension and a negative dimension. But I'm not sure which I'd prefer to it. In some ways, I think if I was doing it, and I'm not even suggesting I would or ever plan to. I didn't because I've got too much other stuff going on. I think I don't know. What would I do? I'd probably prefer to do it without Starlink, or maybe without Starlink. Satellite phone would be nice because then you could just have a quick chat and update. But I don't know whether I'd be watching all the movies and all that sort of stuff and trying to keep up with world events. It's hard enough here. So anyway. Part of the course, everyone doing their own, but have a look at Ayrton's little film if you can, and you'll get an understanding of that. Okay, g'day Islam. All right, well that's done. This is one of the shortest ones, and it's the weekend, but I've got a lot going on, and we're happy to see them there. It's all going well, but keep an eye on it. The next couple of months are going to be very interesting. Okay, we're done. So thanks a lot, everybody, and we'll see you tomorrow. See you getting in and who's having too much of a fun time.